All right, you guys, so you've already practiced how to construct a midpoint of a segment, which is actually the same as constructing a perpendicular bisector. So the notes for today are just to remind you how to do this and then how to teach you this one new thing. So the first thing says to make a perpendicular bisector, you're going to use your construction tools to bisect the segment. So it says to start by putting the point of the compass on E, and you're going to stretch your compass so that it's just more than halfway across the segment. And you're going to draw a big semicircle. Now it doesn't have to be a true half circle. Even if it's just like this much of an arc, that should be fine. And then you're going to pick the same compass. You're going to pick up your compass, and using the same compass width, you're going to put the point of your compass on the other side, and you're going to repeat that same motion. If the two marks that you draw don't intersect with each other, it just means you didn't have the compass open wide enough, and you should repeat the process after you erase it. So you're used to connecting these 2 points, and you're used to labeling the midpoint right here as M, which is fine to do, but there's a couple extra markings that we're going to put on the paper. So this point right here is A. This point right here in the middle you can label M, and then this point down here you can label B. But so this segment that I draw in, M is still the midpoint, so that's not untrue. However, this segment that I draw in right here is also perpendicular to the segment EF that I started with. And so because of that, you can say that AB is both a bisector of EF, but you can also say that segment AB is perpendicular to EF. And so that's the definition of a perpendicular bisector. When you're doing a construction to construct a perpendicular bisector that goes through a given point, there's a little bit of a difference to how you start, because you don't want it to just go anywhere. You want it to be perpendicular through this point and also be in the middle of this, to be in the middle of the segment. In this case, it's a line. So I'm going to bisect the segment that I'll create. It says the first thing I'm supposed to do is put the point of the compass on A, and I'm going to adjust the compass width so that it will cross over line M twice. So I'm a righty, so just give me a second. So I'm going to put the point of the compass on A. Now, if I make the compass too big, it won't cross the line at all. If I make the compass too small, then when I spin it, it won't cross the line at all. So I kind of want to find that happy medium where it's going to look like it'll cross here, and then when I bring it around, it'll cross over here. Draw a big semicircle that intersects the segment twice. It's actually a line, but it'll become a segment here in just a second. So this arc that I just drew, make it look a little more even for you. That arc that I just drew, it can be closer to the line. So if you make it be not quite as big, it might be a little bit closer. But now this point right here, point P, and this point right here, point Q, are actually equal distances away from point A because they're the radii of a circle that has a center at A. And so now that I have this distance and this distance drawn, now it says that to finish constructing the perpendicular bisector, I can put the point of the compass on P and follow the steps from up above, and then put the point of the compass on Q and follow the steps from up above. So now I'm going to put the point of the compass on P. I'm going to ignore this marking that's on the picture. And so I got to go a little bit more than half. And so I'll draw this marking on the picture, and then I'll repeat the process from this side from Q, and I'll draw this marking on the picture. And so what you're going to notice is when you connect the 2 points that are here in the middle, not only does the segment cut this piece in half, and not only does the segment is it perpendicular right here, it also goes through point A. And so that's what we were trying to do in this example. So this segment right here that doesn't have a name is a perpendicular, well, I guess we could call this B, and we could give it a name. So this right here, this bisector, is a perpendicular bisector of the segment that I created. This will work when you're not given the endpoints of a segment, but rather when you're given a point and you want to create a segment that's perpendicular to another line or another segment. So this first marking that you draw is how you create the endpoints of the segment, and then from there you finish by constructing the perpendicular bisector.